We would love to hear from you. As we head into the new year, we want to provide more content that's valuable and inspiring. And so if you have anything to share, we would invite you to drop it in the comments. We do read and reply to them. And give us a like and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Just that simple act helps out our channel tremendously. Thank you so much. Have a great day. I read a quote today and it inspired me, and I thought you two would like it, so I'm going to read it. A pattern I've noticed in successful people is they're all a little bit delusional about their abilities. Not arrogant, just unreasonably optimistic about what they can figure out. And while everyone else is listing reasons why something won't work, they're already trying it. Half the time, they're wrong, but the other half, it changes their life. Reasonable people don't build unreasonable lives.
Truth,
right?
Truth, yeah. And I mean, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? Like, throw another quote back.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to be, delusional, so to speak, unrealistic, a dreamer. That's where it starts. And then, I got to figure it out, because most people, it's like, oh, it's too much. So, yeah, that's a cool quote.
I thought so too. It reminded me of us in our early beginnings.
We were delusional.
Yeah, we were so delusional, and I freaking love that about us. And I always say I was born with a "how hard can it be" gene.
Yep,
and it's we came together and we had this idea. We're like, we don't need the millions and millions of dollars in funding. I mean, if you think about what we created and the other companies that we are now on par with that have been funded with, some of them hundreds of millions of dollars, and we bootstrapped this baby, and we did it because we were super unreasonable about what we could accomplish if we just all came together with that common purpose. And so when I read it, it made me think of all of us, and it was 6 years ago.
Gosh, I know.
When we started formulating the beginnings.
It is wild to think.
Of Offervana and then Zoodealio. It is wild to think. So I thought we would just reflect for a moment on that.
Yeah, that's super cool. And I do think we're unreasonable. I think we're unreasonable and delusional in some things even now. But I know certainty always finds its way, just like water finds a way through a rock eventually. And I think if you're willing to have that type of determination and keep crashing against the shore, eventually you punch through.
I just can't believe it's been 6 years. It doesn't. I mean, it feels like it, and it doesn't at the same time. Just because each year there's always so much going on. There's always new stuff going on, growing. It goes by quick, but then you look back and like, dang, it's been 6 years.
And I don't think,
where's the time go?
Exactly. Where does it go? And I don't think we do. I will say that one of our fatal flaws is I don't think we all do a good enough job of pausing and reflecting back and just appreciating how far we've come.
Yeah.
And so in honor of Thanksgiving, let's appreciate it for a second, because we've done some cool shit. And I know we'll keep doing more, but that's our thing, is we're always driving, going.
Yeah, what's next?
Yeah, what's next? Instead of looking back and going wow.
Yeah, we keep trying to increase the lap time, right? Like we went around the lap one time, let's go faster, right? And so I think but I mean, isn't that part of what the goal is from an entrepreneurial aspect, right? So, I mean, I know I'm appreciative, we're all appreciative for everybody out there, right? Mm-hmm. Is the audience and everything that we're talking about, so many people have picked up on. And to me, that's been one of the most humbling and cool things in this is, I think, again, when you get delusional, oh, we'll have this many subscribers, oh, we'll have this many people on the platform, oh, we'll have this many people involved, and oh, we'll go just handle this amount of deals and transactions. And it sounds good, in the beginning, but then you start walking the walk and you get out of the gate and you're like, lap one, all right, it wasn't too bad. Go faster. Oh, you hit a speed bump. Oh, flat tire, right?
The wheels are falling off.
Or shoot, I thought I was in a Ferrari, but maybe I put in the wrong gas because it just died.
Yeah.
I thought Elliot gave us the keys to the Ferrari.
Yeah, it is a Ferrari. We just got to put the right petro in it.
Not the Geo Metro.
Well, hey, we didn't know that AI. Well, we did know, but the revolution, right? It's the gas-powered engine is no longer. It's electric.
Well, AI is detecting that the Declaration of Independence is fake. They're saying that AI predicts that it is AI generated.
The Declaration of Independence?
Yes. How crazy is that? So these detection AIs are saying when they read through the Declaration of Independence that it is written by AI. And so
Wait, hold on. I'm
nuts.
totally confused by that statement.
Yeah.
They're saying the digital version of
AI
it
is saying that the Declaration of Independence is written by AI.
How would that be? Just because when the Declaration of Independence was written, AI wasn't?
Because it's so formally written, maybe so well written, that AI is saying this is AI generated.
Got it.
There ain't no way someone wrote that. AI wrote that.
That is very interesting.
Isn't that wild?
That is, yeah. That took me a second to wrap my brain around what was even being said there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I segued pretty quick into it because you mentioned AI and it was a topic for today. And so I threw it out there real quick. But yeah, I mean, how wild is that? Like, can you imagine, like Chris and I were talking about this. Could you imagine like in college, if you're like writing an essay and you just happen to be like this profound writer and your teacher's using AI detection to, you know, see if you're cheating and says, oh yeah, that was AI generated. And you're like, no, but I wrote that actually. Like,
well, and one of the biggest and best things, well, not biggest and best, one of the things I think that's surfacing so much over the last 2 years, well, really since 2012, right? A guy by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto obviously saw the changing of the guard with money, and our founding fathers, when they talked about money and the, you know, debasement of currency and taking it off of basically creating fiat fake currency that only has value because your government says, pretty much says so, the strife that would come with that, right? So like those are things that obviously AI 100% picked up on. And when you think about probably all of the other things in that Declaration of Independence that it said, hey, this is so well executed, and yet here we are, what, 1776, so
25.
yeah, 225 years later, 250 years later,
250
years later, yeah, I think we just had our 250, yeah, we did, or anyway, roughly 250 years. Look at all the mistakes and changes that we've made, and so much so that a lot of people will be like, yeah, our founding fathers would not be pleased with the adjustments that we've made. AI is calling it out.
well, AI is detecting that it is well written, I guess.
Yeah, well, it just comes down to this. The whole purpose of the document was to not have the government much power, and that's almost a 180 of where we're at. That's what the problem is.
So, you know, something that's been going on, if you've been following assets like crypto and stocks and whatnot, we are seeing that, especially crypto, has experienced some depression through November and October. And there's a lot of rumblings about what the future will look like. You mentioned Bitcoin. You mentioned the creator of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto. I want to just like, I want a roundtable. I get fascinated to hear who people think he actually was.
Or is.
Yes, is, was it a person? Was it an organization? What are your wild thoughts on it?
My honest wild thought is it's probably a nobody. That's a massive somebody. And my wild one is Elon Musk. That guy has had his hand in literally everything, down to like, it still cracks me up when a lot of people are like, wait, what? Elon Musk helped co-found ChatGPT? Yep, sure did.
You see all the crazy stuff going around, you know, that it was created by like the CIA.
Yes,
and it's all just used for money laundering and all this stuff. And but I don't know. So I saw this video of a guy who's super hardcore into XRP, and I think he's the COO of Ripple, Joel Katz. And there was some video that went, it was a couple of years ago, I believe. And he asked him, he was like, are you the creator of Bitcoin? Because I guess this guy is like, you know, he basically created the whole foundation of XRP. So clearly he's a brilliant mind. And
so Joel Katz asked this guy?
No, some guy asked Joel Katz, and he goes, well, I guess I probably could be, but if I was, I wouldn't tell you.
Right.
And I just thought, what a weird response. And so some people think he is.
So interesting. I think the most compelling argument for me, and Elliot, I wondered if maybe you've gleaned this because I've said this before, is I've wondered Elon Musk, or Elon Musk or someone who's dead. And the reason I think that is because Satoshi Nakamoto set up a wallet for himself of 1.1 million Bitcoin, which is worth about what, $115 billion.
Yeah, a lot of money.
So if the creator of Bitcoin still exists, they've not pulled any profit.
Anything.
And how could a human resist the urge not to pull any profit? And so,
or they're already super rich,
like Elon Musk. If the CIA created it, no one pulled profit. Like, how could no one pull profit?
Well, and the other thing too about it, like,
right?
I mean, it's
like,
such a big concept.
Unless they have more than one wallet.
Well, and it's so much bigger than honestly, it's so much bigger than just Bitcoin. Because think about it, it's blockchain, right? Which blockchain, when you're talking about what it is going to be in 20 years from now, even 5 years from now, I'm going to argue that blockchain is bigger than actual Bitcoin. And I realize that they're kind of similar, et cetera. But when you think about the problems that a blockchain is going to solve when it comes to title, transacting, you know, cars, any type of tokenization in general, you're talking about literally revolutionizing mankind, right? How we are going to store information and the data integrity of it. So, like, that's the part to me that actually is, as I process it, is the most mind-boggling, because like, I'm like, wait, one person came up with this, and how does not a group, like there has to be like usually think tanking on these types of things.
And there are early, like Adam Beck, he was an early cryptographer who contributed to the Bitcoin protocol and had early exchanges with Satoshi Nakamoto and whatnot. But it's like the identity of that person.
Yeah, so it was all digital exchanges.
Yeah. Or not.
Or not. And they just left the mask on in the situation. And what a valid point. Like, gosh, how hard it is. And maybe it's because, then again, to have like the foresight to be what it's become, back in 2012?
Well, and that's how he signed off.
Was it 2009 or 2012?
It was 2009.
I think it was 9.
That's how he signed off the Bitcoin white paper. He's like, well, I guess if this takes off, I should probably keep a little bit of this for myself.
Yeah.
That's how he signed off his white paper. I think it's incredible. And I think it adds to the story and to the allure of Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
To have that founder who's just like identityless and.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure somebody knows who he is, but like one of the main creator of the Shiba Inu, which obviously started off as a meme, but now is much more than that.
Massive.
It's built its own ecosystem. No one, like the public doesn't know who he is. When he goes out in public, he dresses up in like this, like
the mask.
Yes.
Yep.
That is so weird.
He
Oh my
hides
gosh, I
his
want to see it.
identity.
Yeah,
It almost looks like a Asian ninja.
Yes.
It's like the fox dog head thing, right?
No,
Not that one.
No, I'm trying to find it. Shiba Inu.
And so
I know
there's
several of them that seal our identity.
Yeah.
Well, case in point, though, like you see some of the stuff that's going viral in some of these other countries where people are finding out that they hold, hundreds of millions of dollars in a wallet. And there's been a few times that people have been like attacked. They try to kidnap their kids, all kinds of stuff so they can get the keys to their wallet.
Yep. Crazy times we live in. In the U.S., the Federal Reserve just released a new report on wealth. And what they revealed is that $85 trillion of wealth sits in the hands of baby boomers, the highest concentration of wealth. Yet baby boomers only make up 20% of the U.S. population.
When you think about that, man, that is mind-numbing because isn't there only about $900 trillion? Like, isn't that like basically
so baby boomers, they own half of all the U.S. wealth.
Wow.
Yes.
And I'm saying that 900 trillion is the world.
The world.
Like
so
everything.
U.S. 85 trillion is half. So
yeah.
170.
But even still,
trillion.
like 10% of that, like just thinking about the world.
Yeah.
That's nuts to me.
It is nuts. What's also nuts is 40% of that wealth is tied up into real estate. And so as the baby boomers over the next decade, 2 decades start to pass and leave that wealth to the next generation, a higher concentration is going to be, of course, Gen X. And then you're going to have millennials, and then Gen Z will see some, but most will go to Gen X and millennials. What are they going to do with the houses?
Yeah, if you don't
sell them.
It's absolutely going to be liquidated. Most people are like, ooh, whoa, right? Like that's him. Need some more vacation money, right? Like whatever they're going to do.
You think? Do you think most of the properties will be liquidated? Unless, of course, maybe it's like a special property. But if it's just like your run of the mill.
Oh yeah, to a degree, of course. Everything, 100% of everything ends up being a seller, right? Like that's one of the things I always talk about. Someday they're going to be a seller. Man, I do have a point on what you just said. When you like, my brain went to like, oh my gosh, when you think about like the 100% of wealth portfolio and 40% of it is real estate, if that doesn't tell you the power of real estate and the importance of what y'all are doing out there, like that is, let that sink in. 40%, the overwhelming majority, right? Like, cause it's not going to be 60% stocks, right? Like after that, it's going to be some type of diversity. That other 60% is going to be broke up at some level, I would imagine. So, man, that is wild to think that 40%, which is going to be that large of a sector of wealth.
Did they have an unfair advantage, though? In one of the articles about this, there was a comment that baby boomers became the richest generation because they had a once-in-a-lifetime setup. So they bought homes when an ordinary salary could cover the cost of a mortgage on a modest house without turning every month into a financial siege. And they locked those mortgages in, then watched home prices surge and interest rates collapsed. So essentially they had like better economic conditions than the other generations.
They did. I mean, think about, like tell all these stories you hear like, oh, go get a candy bar for a penny, and then you go buy a super sick muscle car for like $5,000 or $6,000, and that was the rich.
Yeah.
It was like normal cars, $500, $600, $700. It's like, it's mind blowing to even hear that.
It really,
and you think
really
about
is.
it, I'm like, and they were like, I feel like they were using more expensive material back then too, like steel and, heavy duty stuff. And not that they, now they use this cheap ass plastic today. So, It's
just the quality of goods.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
they did.
changed.
I think the baby boomers, and I don't remember the generation right before them, right after the Great Depression, from the 40s to probably about the 80s, that they had it the best.
They had the best. Was it the silent generation before the baby boomers?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think a lot of that just speaks to the devaluation of the dollar. But then quality of goods is, I mean, there's just no comparison. I think the things were built better then.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the other thing too is I hate to say it, is just people, right? What is that? I'm trying to remember. What is that saying? Tough times make strong men make easy times make weak men. And it's basically just like a cycle of what happens. And the reality of it is just that we have been so good for so long that we've created easy, and easy has created easy. Right. And so now people, they don't know how to fight. They don't know how to resist. They don't know how to grind. And I'm not speaking obviously like, 100% unanimous. I'm just speaking about the body. So I think that's where, again, these times is it a cycle, and will it shift? And will our grandkids' kids be on the rise again? Because that's when the grind times are going to have come. I don't know, something to think about.
Ray Dalio talks a lot about this in his, when he theorizes that the U.S. is declining, and one of the
changing
reasons,
world order.
Yeah, the changing world order. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, and he talks a lot about that, and it's hard not to look at that and go, yeah, I can see how that's playing out right now.
It is wild, but I mean, the other thing too. So I was actually I was listening to this podcast actually just this morning, and basically what it was talking about was a study that has recently been done where it's inflation versus I'm totally drawing a blank here. Payment increase. What do we call that?
Wage growth.
There we go. Wage increase. And so that from 20 to 25 is there. It's because it's 25 is not complete. They're speculating that it's going to be 22%. Right over that span, people have had an increase in pay of 22%. However, they said inflation during that time is going to be 25%. So they were actually talking about the times and the printing of money and who it actually benefits. And they were actually saying it benefits investors. Just cutting to the chase on the whole thing.
Shocker.
But they also said that when you get into like actually talking about inflation, saying, hey, it's been 25%, but then they actually talk about the effectiveness of inflation because the way reporting works and different things and all of that. And they said a lot of times it's actually double. So there's a lot of the main goods that since that time frame will affect a lot of the people as if it almost had a 50% increase, but yet your pay has only gone up 22%. So they talk about exactly what we're talking about, like, hey, you might be making more money, but your lifestyle is absolutely declining. So really, again, it was just a very interesting topic.
Interesting, and probably rings pretty darn true
for a lot of people.
How they judge inflation is that basket of goods, and what goes in the basket of goods is always kind of mind blowing. Yeah, I don't know.
Sounds depressing, Elliot.
Well, it's not depressing. What it was is informing in the flight to hard assets, like we've been talking about. So.
I think like on the surface, it sounds depressing if you take the traditional path. But what I hear when I hear things like that is if you over-index in other areas, you actually have more opportunity.
Agreed.
And I think that then perhaps what needs to be instilled in the hearts and the minds of the next generation is just that willingness to break the mold and think outside the box.
Absolutely.
And do something, and those things are happening. Like that is already happening. I mean, look at the gig economy and how, people can go work a couple hours here, a couple hours there.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have to report to anyone. They can kind of earn as they go. And those sorts of opportunities didn't exist. I remember when I moved into my first apartment when I was 18, my parents were super strict. I had a 10:30 curfew when I was 18, and I'm like, I'm getting the heck out of here. And so I moved into an apartment in a terrible area of town. It was a 1-bedroom. It was didn't even have I had a communal a communal washer and dryer. And so I had to go downstairs to do my laundry and stuff. But this terrible area of town, and in order to make the payment, I had to get a second job. So I worked by day as a legal secretary, and at night I served at Serrano's Mexican food, and my apartment stunk. It stunk so bad, like beans.
Serrano's?
Yes, it was so terrible. So,
come on, Serrano's.
That's funny.
Oh, it smells horrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it smells horrible. But I can remember though, feeling so stressed out about being able to make the payment and having to get these shifts and being excited when I could work a double on a Sunday and that sort of thing, right? And imagine if I could have just went and, delivered groceries for people or Ubered, right? We have opportunities now that didn't exist then that I think are really cool.
Mm-hmm.
That is such a valid point, because you 100% have jobs on demand now, which is basically what we're talking about with like Uber. I'm not saying like 100%, but what, like 98%, as long as you have a good viable car and, means of, those types of things, you literally have a job on demand, work when you want, as much as you want, to a degree. I mean, I can speak from experience on that with my son, right? Isn't he just going and doing certain things? That's just an adjustment. Yeah, that is such a valid point, to where the ability to create additional income vast outweighs when we were first entering the job market.
Or like reselling stuff. Like if I were like in a position where I needed extra cash, I would just like go circle Queen Creek on bulk trash pickup day and like load up some of the stuff people throw away, because I walk through my neighborhood and I'm like, oh dang, they're throwing that away. I'm like checking it out. I'm like, like there's some good stuff.
Oh yeah.
You just like pick that up, take it into your garage, clean it up a little bit, post a picture, throw it on Facebook Marketplace, use ChatGPT to write your description, tell you the pricing, and then bam, you just made an extra $50. Like I think that there's a ton of cool opportunities now as well. So I think that some people get so focused on like, oh yeah, wage growth isn't keeping up with all this, and like, which it's not. It's problematic, but
it's the woe is me. Right?
Yeah.
I like it. Be an optimist. Find a way. Plow your own path when it comes to not making sure that you're not a victim, right? So, I mean, I like it.
I know that's what Keith would do.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to keep pushing forward, that's the only mindset to have.
So agreed.
Yeah.
This is pretty fun. So 2 turkeys were pardoned by the White House. Gobble and Waddle.
Gobble and Waddle. All right, Gobble, Waddle.
And they're spending the night at the Willard Hotel in Washington, D.C. now.
Like actual real turkeys?
Real turkeys. Look at that. How
they were
cute is
pardoned
that?
from being dinner.
They were definitely.
They were on death row.
Going to be dinner.
They were on.
And now they're not.
Get 8 row.
Now they're not. Now they're in a luxury hotel.
You think they're gonna stay alive when this is all done?
I hope so. I don't know.
I have to do a follow-up story on that. Be like, hey, what's their names? Where are the whereabouts of Gobble and Waddle? Check it in a week.
Let's put some air tags on them and see how that plays out.
That's pretty funny.
That is funny.
Super fun stuff. Well, hey, we appreciate you. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you have anything to add to the conversation, leave us a comment. Make sure you hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed to our channel, hit the notification bell so you get updated of our new episodes.